In Africa, the confirmed cases are 125,806, with 3,711 deaths and 51,642 recoveries. In Nigeria, the confirmed cases are 8,733, with 254 deaths and 2,501 recoveries. Let's give you some stories we have at the moment. In the United States of America, the American Airlines will cut 30% of its management and support staff in its latest belt-tightening move during the prolonged COVID-19 downturn, the company has disclosed. The big U.S. carrier outlined a series of measures to reduce headcount throughout its operations in an email to staff that was released in a securities filing today. America currently has a team of 17,000 people in Man Airlines and other carriers that have signaled deep jobs cuts due to shrinking air travel demand from coronavirus shutdowns. In Germany, Chancellor Angela Merkel has urged fellow leaders to consider providing further support to multilateral institutions like the United Nations and the World Health Organization to speed recovery from the coronavirus crisis. Speaking at a UN-sponsored virtual conference of world leaders, she also said the countries should allocate more funding to the International Monetary Fund to help states that come into short-term financial difficulties. According to her, additional IMF measures might also be considered when it becomes necessary to, at short notice, secure the liquidity of vulnerable states. She said through an interpreter, thus it might be conceivable to consider an increased allocation of special drawing rights of the International Monetary Fund. United Nations Secretary General Mr. Antonio Guterres has said debt relief must be extended to all developing middle-income countries that request forbearance as they lose access to financial markets amid the coronavirus pandemic. Speaking further, he said many developing and middle-income countries are highly vulnerable and already in debt distress, or will soon become so due to the global recession. Alleviating crushing debt cannot be limited to the least developed countries, he told a UN meeting on how to handle the pandemic economic fallout. Automaker Nissan has announced it is closing 2 auto plants in Spain and Indonesia as it sank into the red for the first time in 11 years, while the pandemic sent global demand plunging and halted production. Nissan's chief executive Makoto Uchida told reporters the production in Europe will be centered at the British plant in Sunderland, and the production in Indonesia will move to Thailand as the Japanese automaker reduced global production by 20%. In the UK, British low-cost airline EasyJet said it plans to slash up to 30% of its staff and shrink its fleet to fit the smaller market it expects to emerge from the collapse in air travel due to the pandemic. EasyJet said it would launch a consultation process with its staff in the coming days, joining many of its airline peers in announcing job cuts. And in Nigeria, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria concluded its one-day policy meeting today, which was through the virtual platform. The committee members, which were faced with the hard choices of reducing or leaving policy parameters unchanged, unanimously elected to reduce the benchmark interest rate by 100 basis points. At the end of the meeting, the committee reached the following decisions: reducing monetary policy rates to 12.5% from 13.5%, which reflects a 100 basis point reduction; retain a symmetrical corridor around the monetary policy rate at plus 200 and minus 500 basis points; retain cash reserve ratio at 27.5%; and retain liquidity ratio at 30%. As part of its continued effort to mitigate the impact of the coronavirus on households, businesses, and regulated institutions, the Central Bank of Nigeria has reduced interest rates on its facilities through participating other financial institutions from 9% to 5% per annum for 1 year, effective from March 1, 2020. The bank, in a circular signed by Director of Financial Policy and Regulation Department, Kevin Amugo, and issued on Wednesday, May 27, 2020 in Abuja, also announced that CBN intervention facilities obtained through participating OFIs, like microfinance banks, primary mortgage banks, and institutions, among others, will be given a further 1 year moratorium on all principal repayment. And that will be all for today's COVID-19 update. You can visit our website, www.proshng.com, to get more updates from our news stories and videos. You can also read our analysis and reports through the website. This period, we have packaged for you a platform, Corona Central Watch, where you can get all the trackers from world, national, and state on COVID-19. You can also see and follow our social media platforms showing on the screen. Till we come your way again, thank you for watching. Have a nice day. And remember to stay safe.